This tapping session, you are going to claim for yourself the audacity to create. I'll refer to you as creative and goal-oriented, but really that's redundant because if you're pursuing a goal, you are creative. You're creating a future that you want to live in. Badass. But the thing is, a lot of people in the world are dominated by this psychology of fear, which then justifies laziness and a lack of ambition, and it, justifies a certain mediocrity that if you're a creative, goal-oriented individual, you can't stand that. It like irks you to live in that mode. However, just because that psychology irks you doesn't mean you haven't been affected by it, right? And any creative person has been, for lack of a better word, persecuted at times in their life where they've exposed and shared their creativity and then it was attacked, killed with ridicule and shame and judgment and all of these nasty things because you basically trigger that same consciousness in other people that they are too afraid to embody, and so they repress it, and then they want to punish you for not repressing it in yourself. Codependent human psychology BS. But if you want to fix that, let's go ahead and do that. Rank it on a scale of 0 to 10, and let's get started. I claim the audacity to create, and I love and accept myself. I claim the audacity to create, and I love and honor myself. I claim the audacity to create, and I love myself, I accept myself, I respect myself, I enjoy myself, I appreciate myself, I honor myself, and I choose to free myself in every atom and subatomic particle of my whole entire being. I claim the audacity to create. I claim my audacity to create. It hurts. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so much to realize how disconnected I've been. How disconnected I've been from my birthright. My birthright to create. A creative being. That's what I am. That's who I've always been. The unstoppable urge and drive to create and the desire to create, it's always been a part of me. It's always been me. I've always been creative. And I've always wanted to create. But people have shamed me. They've tried to insert their perspective into my soul. And it's not okay. Because I was not okay holding them in my soul. Their insecurities and their fears and their judgments and mischaracterizations, it was all theirs. And I'm resentful that I internalized it. But I internalized it. I ate their poison. And I'm so sad that I did. Because it made me sick and unwell. It made me feel afraid. And for so long, I have felt afraid. Because I learned that creating and expressing myself meant judgment, meant ostracization, meant being isolated, It meant bullying and slander, all of which sure were weapons of mass destruction. They destroyed me, at least for a time. For a long time, I hid away. I didn't want the world to see me. So I abandoned myself. I abandoned myself so hard that all that was left was a performance, a mask, and a protection. But even in that performance, I felt alone. And my sadness wailed until I turned into grief, feeling so heavy. The destructive power of their words, their thoughts, their energies, their actions, even their inactions, caused me to question my worth. Am I even valuable at all? Or am I just a scum? A worthless, fake, disgusting, gross, evil tryhard. And yet, here I am, loving myself despite all of that. Not because I should, but because I choose to. I choose to. That in itself is an indication of my self-worth. Because I am valuing and validating myself. I choose to value and validate myself. I am worthy. My creativity was never the problem. Perhaps my lack of refinement may have been a signal that alerted them to an easy target. But then in that case, their psychological weapons of mass destruction could never have succeeded after all. Never, ever, 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 ever at all. Because I am choosing to allow myself to claim and reclaim and reclaim and reclaim the audacity to create. And this time, I am not creating from a naive place. I have gotten better. Those experiences only empowered me to teach myself how to discern between what thoughts and energies belong to me and which do not. Yes, I have been scarred. And yes, my scars have healed. I've given myself permission to heal. So my emotional scars have healed. My psychological scars have healed. The scars in my soul are healed. And I choose to release myself from the burdens of the pains and the wounds that for a time I carried. Even though I choose to be mature and learn from them, they were never mine to carry. So I release those pains, the shame, the fear, the judgments, the hate, the projections, from every atom and subatomic particle of my whole entire being, because I'm ready to live true. True to who I really am, and I'm ready to commit to becoming a clear expression of my drive and my desire to create. I am a creative being, and now I have no fears. I am wiser, and I've achieved more depth. Not the kind of depth that used to drown me and smother me. The true depth and quality of character that comes from surviving and breaking through to the other side of those lessons. I claim the audacity to create. I embody the confidence of a soul who chooses to create. I release all fears and judgments, fears of judgments, and I command every fiber of my being, every atom and subatomic particle, to fully recognize and protect the boundaries of who I am. So that as I'm creating, nobody else's unproductive projections can ever stick to me or slow me down ever again. Deep breath. I told you that would be a good one. Ultimately, your creativity is always tied to your self-worth. And then when people are trying to interfere with your self-worth, that's going to block you from being creative. There's no such thing as perfect in the beginning stages, at least, right? You need to let go of that fear of perfection, which comes from the fear of judgments, so that you can just create. And you can always refine later, but just get out there and create.